Welcome to We Connect. You're joining us on a show that actually meets up with interesting and fascinating people every week. And my guest today is absolutely no exception to that. Chinmayi is not just a playback singer. She's a television and a radio personality. She does dubbing. She's a language expert. And as if all of this were not enough, she's a business person as well. Thank you so much for being with us. So many different hats you wear. So how do you manage all of this?
I don't know. I think it was not a conscious decision to do all this thing, whatever came by. But I trained to be a classical musician. I trained to be a singer. And I wanted to work on that, wanted to work ahead on that. And everything else, the dubbing and everything happened by chance. Languages, I learned German when I was in school. I went to Goethe Institute and I learned, finished the 6 levels of German there. And translation also happened by chance. So it was something that my cousin asked me to just give. He had this 120-page manual and he couldn't find anybody in short notice. And he said, oh, you know German, so why don't you just do this for me? And then that's where this ball started rolling. And slowly people started calling me and said, oh, I want Dutch done, I want French done, so can you get it done? So I started, just joining the dots, and then finally a well-wisher said, why are you doing this in such a disorganized manner? So make it corporatized, make it more business-like and do it in an organized manner. So we floated Blue Elephant, and hence language translation became quite something.
But of course, primarily you'll always be known and be seen as a very successful playback singer.
Yes.
So is that the way you want to see yourself?
That is my primary passion. Music is my primary passion. It's my first love, and I will remain married to it. Everything else is a nice affair.
Of course, Mom was your inspiration. She's your guru, and she taught you the rudiments of where you are today. So, do you still consult her? Do you still refer to her for a lot of your work?
Yes, of course. She is my guru, and I have learned to sing from her. She's there at every step of the way. And even today, every time there's a concert, there's something happening on stage, and I'm performing, and she lets me know what needs to be done. Depending, she's watching the audience, the pulse and everything, and she comes back to me and says, I think this is what you should do.
How active and how actively involved do you get with the film itself that when you're singing for a movie?
Singing for a movie, how actively do we get involved with the movie? Not much. I would say there's not any involvement with the movie as such.
So who do you actually deal with in the movie itself?
As long as the song recording is concerned, it's usually the composer, and it's almost always the composer. A lot of times we don't know what the story is. I don't know who I'm singing for. I don't even know why that song is happening in that sort of a space. We usually know it depending on the melodic content or the way the beats are spaced. We generally know. I think when we look at the lyrics, we have an idea as to what exactly it could be. So we know, I think at least in Tamil movies, it's classified into an item number, a melody song, a love song, and there's a fast song, there's a soul number, there's a sad song. So it's kind of easy to figure out what it's all about.
There are some exceptions to the rule, though, of course. You have had directors and people who have got far more involved with you and in the way you're doing it. Let's talk about that.
Very rarely. Very rarely. Yes, it's very rare that a director comes across. A lot of times when I recorded, the director is not there, especially if it's for a movie. He's not there during the song recording. Maybe they're doing shooting somewhere else, they're doing something else, and they usually come in and listen to the song once it's done. So the composer is who I work with primarily, and usually he's the only one at the studio, and maybe there's the engineer as well. So he's the one who tells us what kind of an expression or what sort of an idea he's expecting from the singer and what sort of a performance he's expecting from the singer.
Let me ask you here about the volume of work that you actually do in Bollywood, as I know you do a lot over here in the Tamil film industry. So is that a direction that you are veering towards?
Definitely. I think a lot of the singers who sing here want to be singing Hindi at some given point in time. I am no exception. I would like to be singing Hindi because it's a wider market. I like the work that's done there. And yes, I have done a couple of songs for Rahman sir. I mean, he's only one that I've sung for. There's another composer that I worked with. And I'm hoping that it should release soon. Yeah, I'm
Right.
waiting for it to release.
Right. We're going to come back and talk a little more about that particular point that we're breaking off at. We're still here on We Connect, and we'll get right back with you in just a very short while.